We start our journey with Walter Bedeker, a 44-year-old self-absorbed paranoid hypochondriac who is lying in bed being checked up on by a doctor. The doctor finishes his examination and Walter starts to show his personality, asking the doctor how long he has left to live. Walter doesn't take the news well of his clean bill of health because his warped mind knows that he is sick. The doctor basically tells Walter that it's all in his head, and Walter in turn offends the doctor. Walter's wife, Ethel, comes into the room, sits on the bed, and then she becomes the next victim of Walter's insults. He even tells the doctor that his wife can't wait for him to be dead. In short, Walter's a real dick. The doctor has a conversation with Ethel and tells her not only is Walter healthy, he is his healthiest patient and even offers her some vitamins because he is making her sick. Ethel goes back into the room and is berated once again by Walter, even telling her he believes the doctor and her are in cahoots to get rid of him. He throws Ethel out of the room, but not before going on a tirade about why does a man have to die. A robust man suddenly appears wearing a dark suit. Walter is startled to see this man. I guess people in the Twilight Zone sure take it well when people just pop up wherever in their homes or rooms. Anyway, it's the Twilight Zone. The man introduces himself as Cadwallader and tells Walter he has been there watching him for some time. The strange man then makes a proposition to Walter. Cadwallader lays it out for him, knowing that Walter wants to live an extended lifespan. Walter is intrigued by an offer of immortality and asks what he would want in return. Cadwallader just tells him it's nothing really, just a small thing, just a thing like his soul. Walter then realizes that this man is the devil. The devil, aka Cadwallader, tells him that not only will he be immortal, he will be indestructible. The devil even sweetens the pot more, telling him he won't age. The devil even offers him an escape clause, stating that if any time he wants to go and he wants to die, he can call upon him, and he will make that happen. Walter signs the contract eagerly, and the devil stamps it in his approval and disappears. Ethel enters and sees Walter standing in front of an open window, and he proclaims himself the new Walter Bedeker. And soon after, the new Walter Bedeker takes a swan dive in front of a train. Let's face it, it's New York, so he was probably actually pushed, but Walter is unscathed. Walter then receives a settlement of some sort from the subway accident. We then see a new man come in that's there to give him a settlement for a bus accident. Walter's really working this angle here because he's did this now 14 times. He even reveals to Ethel that he's starting to get bored with all of this. Walter heads into the bathroom, mixes a bathroom sink concoction, and drinks it down in front of Ethel. Ethel then questions Walter, wanting to know what this is all about. Walter tells Ethel about the deal he's made with the devil. He tells Ethel he's going up on the roof and he's going to jump down just for some excitement. Ethel follows him up to the roof. He then insults her a bit, of course, and Ethel falls off the roof. Then Walter does what, anyone would do. Lights up a cigarette calmly. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, Walter. He calmly goes inside and calls the police to tell them that he just killed his wife because Walter wants to try out the electric chair. Walter meets with his attorney, who is frustrated with him because it seems that at the trial, Walter isn't even trying to prove himself innocent. He tells his attorney not to even bother. He wants the electric chair. Walter then stands in front of the judge, who sentenced him to life in prison, not the electric chair. Walter stands in a cell waiting for his transportation to prison. Our old friend the devil shows up in the cell laughing at Walter. Walter then breaks down with the thought of spending eternity in a prison. The devil offers him the escape clause, and Walter agrees and drops dead from a heart attack. Well, there it is, Doc. Escape clause. Very exciting. I guess it was. So everybody tuning in, this is Doc Wagner joining me, and we're going to go over a lot of things. So
stay tuned. We're going over actors. We're going to do fun facts, Doc. We're going to do some symbolism, influences. I don't know if you have any influences, Doc, but there's a couple out there. Favorite scenes, ratings, and we're even going to read, well, we're not going to read verbatim some Reddit ratings or things you've gone through. You got your thumb on the pulse of what people are thinking about this episode.
Oh, I try to get that stuff, and this is an interesting episode.
Let us delve into the realm of these performers, exploring their talents and unraveling their intricacies on this stage of shadows and light.
Let's talk about the actors. David Wayne played Walter. His first role was in 1940's Strangers on the Third Floor. It was an uncredited role, but pretty versatile actor. He acted until 1987. His last role was The Survivalist.
She died in 74. I've been on my lonesome ever since.
In between, he sandwiched 2 Love Boats, A Murder, She Wrote, and one of your personal favorites. I found this one, a Barney Miller.
You got to be congratulated.
I love it.
And A Night Gallery. So he worked with Rod Serling again. And we.
Wow. I thought you were going to go fish on me, but you went Barney Miller.
That is one of your favorite with that hat. I mean, you look like you look like you.
I'm going for casting.
Someone younger and stronger comes along to fill your shoes, and a person has to gracefully step aside.
Or Barney Miller, for that matter.
Yeah, or Taxi. Whatever. Keep going.
Taxi. And Thomas Gomez played the devil, or Cadwallader, as he was called in the show. He was in another episode, one of those Western episodes called Dust, which was a really good episode, as most of the Western Twilight Zone episodes are. His first credit was in 1942 Sherlock Holmes' Voice of Terror. And his last episode was in A Gunsmoke in 1972. But I remember him from Key Largo. I don't know if you ever saw that. That is one fun movie, and I'd love to talk about that one day.
And with a price on his head. Nothing to stop me from wiping you all out.
What good'll that do, boss? Forget it. Her kind's a dime a dozen.
I say smack her and let it go at that.
Smacking her isn't enough, is it?
I'll make a note of it right now, Doc. Key Largo.
Yeah, you live in Florida. You should. That should be mandatory.
Hey, stop telling people where I live.
Or do you live in Florida? But I'll tell you what one of my favorite roles. He was in an episode of Mr. Ed. This is how cool of an actor he is, and he played like a parody of Minnesota Fats, which was fun, so he had a little bit of sass to him. He was also in Beneath the Planet of the Apes, which our friend from our first episode, James Gregory, also acted in.
Really?
He played the general, but
yeah.
Little Twilight Zone there.
He was James Gregory was big in Planet of the Apes, though, correct? He was a big.
No. But like I said, no. Hitchcock Presents, definitely. Virginia Christine. She played Ethel. You may remember her. She was in the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers. She was also the Mrs. Olsen, like the Folgers coffee lady from the 60s through the 70s.
Yeah, mountain grown for richer flavor.
I have to admit, though, it's really hard to distinguish actresses back then.
Unfortunately, you're right, especially in a role like this.
Yeah, I mean the housewife with the dress on, with her hair pulled back, in black and white. It's hard. It's hard. Yeah, really is.
And it's
really we've come a really long way. But then again, the guys probably are a little bit like that too. The suit, the parted hair,
the hair parted. This, I could have been an actor in the 50s.
Absolutely, yeah.
I got the jacket. Hey, I have the jacket.
Yeah, I got the jacket. I brought the jacket.
Nice. Well, let's say we have these wonderful actors who are in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
We're filming it currently. This is one of my favorite parts.
Ready with the shot, Mr. DeMille.
All right.
Is Buck going to choose someone who is still with us? Let's find out.
They should have everybody out there should have a bet right now if he's going to be dead or alive. Excuse me. Speaking of, I do have to say my boy Paul Sorvino would have been good in this. I'm just saying. I'm going to say it again.
You would have been an excellent devil.
Thank you. I thought of it right away. Of course I did. But as we all know, Paul Sorvino has sadly passed away. Obviously, who wouldn't know that, dude? But all right. So you want me to go with the actors right away? So Walter, obviously our main actor there. You know, I'm going to go with right here, and this might be a little bit out of left field, but a fantastic actor. He's Australian, born in England actually, though. But he's an Australian actor who showed his chops in LA Confidential. He was in A Time Machine. He was in Memento. And that is Guy Pearce. Guy Pearce, I feel like, could play this kind of jerk role back and forth. Because at the end of the day, Walter was a jerk. I mean,
no doubt about it. He's one of the most annoying characters in the series.
Yeah, you kind of don't feel bad for him in the whole thing. You don't even feel sorry for him that he's like this hypochondriac. You really don't. He doesn't do.
He doesn't do.
Probably been out there because good actor, like you said, good
Guy Pearce
actor. Guy Pearce. I'm going with Guy Pearce. He'd be a good one, especially in that LA Confidential Exley role. I think he played Lieutenant Exley.
The picture's to blackmail Alice Lowe. A kid got murdered. If we're going to figure this out, we need to work together.
Yes.
And, you know, that kind of like could kind of play that snarky, whatever. But anyway, great actor. I just thought of him. I don't know why. But believe it or not, age appropriate, even though Guy Pearce is approaching 60 right now. But so
is he really? Wow.
Yeah, I believe so. He's got to be. Think about it.
LA Confidential was quite some time ago.
90s, mid 90s, right? Yeah. So, yeah. And I went with the devil. I just did too. I went with the devil. What was that? What was the devil? What's the devil's name? Did he introduce himself?
Cadwallader.
Yeah. Okay. Well, him, the devil.
That's why it's easier to say the devil.
I went with John Goodman. How about that? You know,
okay.
You know, I mean, John Goodman to me has shown what a really great actor he is. He's gone sober, I believe, right? And he's shown
he has
even better, I think, with things. But
very intense.
I feel like John,
like need it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think he could be a charming devil, which I think this guy kind of was. Yes. I just thought of the, you know, a little bit of a hey, what's going on? And I think John Goodman is that nowadays kind of guy that it was back then.
Show you the life of the mind. I'll show you the life of the mind. I will show you the life of the mind.
So I'm gonna go with John Goodman with him, and I didn't do the woman or anybody else. I just did those two. So Guy Pearce, John Goodman. That's my
top two. That's fine. That's fine. I've got two, and I'm going to give you one just for you, Buck.
All right.
For Walter, and I did more of a comedic route because this is a little bit of a black comedy, I think, and we'll get into that as we talk more about the episode. I have Michael McKean playing Walter. He has been around the block. You remember from Laverne and Shirley, but he's been in so many other things since then. He was great in Better Call Saul, bringing it up to current or somewhat current, and so many things in between. I think he could play the hypochondriac and play that snark.
Oh, yeah. Well, whose hat do you like better? I've got industrial diamonds on it.
Mine came with a chap.
Just so well that
absolutely. I mean,
that we saw with Walter. For the devil,
that's a good.
Thank you. For the devil, went with the younger person. Went with Dan Levy. You may know him from such things as Schitt's Creek. Again, kind of like a charming devil, but I think Dan could pull that off. He did it so well in Schitt's Creek and kind of just be someone you like.
Because I want those people to know that I'm not a joke. I'm not one.
A devil that you actually like.
Well, you definitely could use his father as well.
Well, he's in my hip hop if you believe me.
Yeah, I know. I always want to ask you, Doc. I'm like, can we use somebody over and over again? Because there's people I see that I'm like, William H. Macy, and I'm like, can't do it now. Can't do it now.
Well,
what's going to happen is
maybe we should have the Burgess Meredith rule, like no more than like 4, maybe 5 tops.
Okay, maybe we use that rule. Okay, all right, because there's a lot of these we're going to do.
There are, but there's so many good actors. There's so we got to look overseas and independent movies where they can't all be. And that's what we like doing. It's not everybody who you go to the movies and see in every single movie. Buck and I pull some random folks out.
I feel like right now we're being a little safe in a sense. I think it's going to get really weird, like being like, no, you got to check out this movie with this guy in it right here. You guys might not even know. There's people that I know that I'm like friends with that I'm like would be good in this part, and they've done stuff. So I might throw a couple of those out there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, so those are our actors right there. And now, Doc, I know you love this part. This is the part that everybody needs to tune in and just listen to. Listen to them. Fun fact.
Now, fun facts from Doc Wagner.
So let's have a party, Doc. Let's get it.
And boy, we do have some fun facts as always. This one is interesting, and it's 1959, remember, Buck, and the CBS executives reviewed the script for censorship. They wanted the words idiot and crazy to be removed. Mr. Serling kept the lines intact. So
how dare you? You woke. You're too woke, 1959.
Idiot and crazy. Now,
I think crazy is still a bad word nowadays. I mean,
I think it is. I think now you can't say it. I think maybe there was a time period where you might be able to. So
we come full circle. Look at us.
Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
Moonlight won. Come on, this is not a joke. This is not a joke. I'm afraid they read the wrong thing.
A lot of my fun facts are pulled by 2 separate things. The Twilight Zone Companion. I've got to get an updated edition. Mark Scott Zersky, and I know Buck has this book as well.
Read this upside down if you want, like you just showed it.
Yes, the Twilight Zone, unlocking the door to a television classic. That's Martin Grimes Jr.
Absolutely, it's a fantastic book, and I want to thank Doc for that book because Doc gave it to me in real quick story, real fast. Doc gave me that book, and I wish I had the card with me right now, but just take my word for it that Doc sent me the book in a nice gesture. We started the show. He sent me that book. Very nice thing for him to do. And the note said a very nice thing on it, about here's a book and thank you for we're doing this and everything like that. And then he signed it on there with the digital thing, that says it. And it said, Doc from Doc. That's what it said. And if anybody knows Doc Wagner, we know he screwed that up and it's fantastic. But at first, I didn't know if I needed to return the book or he was thinking about sending it to himself.
Maybe he's sending it to himself. Maybe it's not a copy.
It said Doc from Doc at the end of it. And one day I will, when I find it, because I did keep it, I will show that to everybody. But it did say Doc from Doc. But thank you for that, Doc. Obviously. Thank you so much for that.
No. And the books that I've mentioned are fantastic. They're available on Amazon. If anybody wants to know more about anything, both those books are fantastic. There's so many more resources out there, but people ask me where I get my fun facts. I get them from all over. I do rely on my 2 Bibles though. So thank you, gentlemen, for writing those books.
Yes. And I believe the body did say, like some light reading for you when you learn how to read. Doc.
I didn't want to say that. I didn't want them to know you didn't know how to read. So,
well, I'm learning. Okay.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Well, here's and I saw this. It's on YouTube. Serling did a pitch for the sponsors before the series even got sold, and during the pitch, he described this episode. It's available on YouTube. Maybe we can put the clip up or a little bit of the clip up.
Object and point here, a file cabinet containing a contract, all very legal and proper, except the party of the first part in this case. Well, what do we call him? He has a lot of names. Beelzebub, Mr. Scratch. Well, that happens to be the party of the first part. in a somewhat charred contract. Only in our story, which we call Escape Clause.
It's really interesting, and Serling is just kind of very, very casual how he does it, not as intense as we're used to seeing him in before and after some of the episodes.
It is true. Like, it'd be really weird. Like, I almost want to write a thing about it. Well, maybe we'll do a play about it in front of Twilight Zone people, because other people wouldn't understand Rod Serling. To have Rod Serling, like, when they're just like, okay, Rod, cut. He's like, all right, guys, what's up, man? What's going on? How you guys doing? You good? You good? All right, fantastic. Yeah, hey, over there. Hey, Bobby, what's up, man? And he's like, good. Yeah, action. And so we take this journey with a man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Really, yeah. He wondered, because we really don't know him other than there. He was a normal man.
There's other resources out there. And Serling, his daughter, wrote a book, which I'm about 3/4 of the way through, and he was just a normal guy. Pretty much kept his work at work from what I've read. But yeah, check out, and I think you have, but I think I sent you that link on Escape Clause that the pitch response. Check it out. Maybe we can put it up.
All right, great. And I apologize to everybody out there for Doc Wagner's internet camera's going nuts right now and everything, but we'll keep going forward because we did hear him. It's fine, Doc.
Okay.
Let's work through it. We're all good. But yeah.
Well, those are some fun facts for you. I know how much you love them, Buck.
I do. That's interesting. That is interesting. And you don't know how many times Doc throughout the day will just throw something at me about Rod Serling or something like that. And one day I'll have a collection of them, and we'll go through them all, because we could just probably do fun facts about. It's amazing to learn this stuff.
Well, I can't spell and Buck can't read, so you can imagine the text between us.
It's pretty good. I mean, if you could text in pop-up book fashion, that would be even better. A lot of emojis go on. Yeah, it's odd. It's very odd. Trust me. All right. So we have fun facts. So what do you think? I think we should probably maybe we go to Symbolism right now, one of our favorites. Let's go to Symbolism. Doc.
Yeah, absolutely.
Symbolism is just too delicious.
Well, I've got a couple things here, and then I'll pass it over to you. I feel like I've been talking a lot. Obviously, be careful what you wish for. But I also think deeper. I think that Walter's kind of very short-sighted, actually. And it fits his character. He's too busy trying to get done what's right now, and he's not even thinking about the future. And he doesn't know, really, he's not enjoying life. He's just worried about the next insurance settlement or things like that. Just enjoy what you have.
Yeah, I definitely think you're right. You're right. Now thinking about that a little bit more about that episode. Yeah, it was a learning experience, kind of, and also, living through COVID. Let's face it. Who didn't think of COVID now? At this point, when he's laying in bed, and all these people that have long-term COVID and everything like that, whatever you might think, or whatever it is, or real or not real, but whatever. But we all went through a bit of everybody, I don't care who you were, hypochondriac mentality during COVID. Like, we were really brainwashed society to believe that on purpose, and I'm not saying this in a conspiracy sort of way at all. I'm just saying it like, when they say lock down, wear masks, do this. I mean, there's nobody out there alive that wasn't like, whoa, hello, wait, oh my, I'm gonna wow, everybody's head.
Yeah, right. You always pull them out there, and I like that, because everybody is Walter during the first month or so.
We actually experienced it back then. You all have a glimpse of it. He lived it, and we saw that. We all had it. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody walked out there like, whatever. Yeah, no, right. I mean, everybody, even if they didn't do it out loud or acted upon it, it crossed your mind. It did. Sure. I tested positive for COVID fairly early I was in California at the time, and I remember it was fairly early, and I remember being like, "What's this mean?" It goes through your head. I remember like walking into my apartment building, and it crosses your mind, being like I could just die.
Oh, I love it. I love the COVID. I love the COVID angle.
You love the COVID. What's
Excellent.
wrong with you?
Doc loves COVID.
I'm going to clip that right there. And like, what's wrong with him?
No.
First he's anti-vaxxer, and now he's against COVID. I don't.
No, wait. What is he saying? All right.
Hey, I don't know.
Moving on. So what's great about this show, we see so many things that have been influenced by pretty much each and every show. What do you think, Buck? What comes to mind?
Well, the first one that came to my mind was like Unbreakable, right? Wasn't it Unbreakable with Samuel L. Jackson and
yes,
as well as
pull that trigger, that bullet is just going to bounce off me, and I'm not going to be hurt. But then I'm going to go upstairs, and I'm going to pack, and I'm going to leave.
Yeah, it's a M. Night movie.
Yeah, and it's funny you said that, because I was going to say, and almost M. Night Shyamalan, everything he's done.
Exactly.
Just that twist at the end. And that's really, so I'm going to say influences M. Night Shyamalan. Even though this wasn't as obviously you're on the whole movie to set up this one thing, but that's, Doc is looking at me like he said this, he's thinking the same thing.
Go on. No, you're,
yes.
No,
but that's really what it is when you think about it. When you look
you're
at
right.
It's this weird twist. And I'm going to get into that twist, because sometimes I hate the twists when they don't work for me. Well, they don't just, for me.
Yep.
Because I am a questioner.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about that when we get to the ratings, because that's I want to talk a little bit about that as well.
But that was my big influences. The first thing I thought of was him.
We've been friends for some time. M. Night's my boy, and he, of course, he's self-admittedly says Hitchcock, Twilight Zone are big influences. And I had M. Night. I said pretty much M. Night's twist came because of this. But I'm going to go in an opposite direction. I'm going to say Groundhog. I'm going to say Groundhog Day.
You want to throw up here? Or you want to throw up in the car? I think both.
I mean, he just did what he could do. Jumping off buildings, drinking until he can't stand, and drinking syrup.
What the hell did you just say?
Just doing everything that he can do. And luckily, Phil finally learned his lesson in that movie, but just living to excess with no consequence.
That's a good poll. That is a good poll, because you're right. And once again, it's not a movie; it's a 20-something minute, show where they couldn't show it, but they really did when he drinks all this stuff, the ammonia and everything like that.
Right.
And you get reckless, being like, "Who cares? I can't die." Okay, that's a good poll. That's it. Okay.
But nice one.
Yeah.
Well,
what about our favorite scene?
He compiled all the best boner scenes, I guess.
My favorite scene was at the very end when Rod Serling introduces the next episode.
Wow. Those are some strong words, Doc, right there. Wow. And for anybody following along, I think we all know what Doc means right there. Boom. Okay.
If anything, I'll give you when he chucked the medicine out the window, and we were hoping we were going to go on a fun ride. When he's like, "I don't need these pills anymore," he just threw them out the window.
Okay, that's what you're going with. Oh wow. I think we know where Doc's going here. Woo-hoo. Those are strong, and I'm not sure if I'm far off. I actually had to reach for this because there wasn't many scenes I was actually crazy about.
So we are.
And yeah. I put when his wife falls off and he just lights a cigarette and calls the cops, because he played that, and I'm just going as almost like as the actor doing it, like the most smug, like perfectly, just like
I pushed her
going, and then he goes inside. He's like, "Yeah, police, I need an ambulance over here. I just killed my wife." Like, wow. All right. So I just did like that as just like summing him up was right.
I like that. Okay.
And making him despicable. But I mean, it was a reach because I mean, usually it's this really great monologue that we've watched, obviously, and talked about things like that. I had to reach for that because everything else I didn't like. I wanted to be like when the devil came, but I was just like, So that's that's my favorite scene. And very close second would be, yes, the introduction to the next episode. Sorry.
Hey, they can't all be winners.
Yes. So with that being said, why don't we go to the ratings? And then afterwards, Doc, you've, like I said, have a finger on the pulse of a lot of people out there that
definitely
talking about it on Reddit and other things. And you fill me in with this, and sometimes I'm very surprised, and I feel like I would be surprised about this. And let's do this more often. Let's talk about what people talk about, and leave the comments. You leave comments below. We'll talk about those as well. Let's get into a little bit of that. Let's go to the ratings. We'll go into that. So let's go to the ratings right now.
Well, who are you to judge me?
You tell me first.
With a heavy heart,
be nice.
I give this a 4. And I feel that is disrespectful. We have a long way to go, and they cannot all be 9s and 10s. Was it a comedy? Was it a drama? The black comedy in this case did not work. The devil was a little bit, granted, I didn't like the devil. I liked Gomez's portrayal, but it didn't work. The cheesy effects, the stamp, I didn't like Walter Bedeker. I didn't like David Wayne's performance. I thought it was too over the top. And I realize you're not supposed to like the character. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the episode. I liked that twist ending, and we alluded to it, that it's a hell of a twist, but it just didn't deliver. And I think I didn't like the score either. It's not an original score, by the way. But the score, like, again, it's that black comedy element, which works sometimes on the Twilight Zone. I don't think it worked here. And that's what dragged it down for me.
Well, with that being, okay, so what'd you say? 4?
I did.
Okay, well, oddly enough, you're a little nicer than me. I'm going to go with a 3. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going with 3. I know, Doc. I know. And sorry, everybody. Don't everybody hate me. I'll try to explain before I get to it. Disappointed me. And once again, I try to pick apart these twistings of endings a lot, and I probably shouldn't. I should just flow and roll with it. Just find my zen. I don't know, something like that. But I really, really hated the fact of, okay, I killed my wife. And he didn't kill her. They did make that clear that he didn't like push her, because it'll make it even more despicable, right? She fell. But okay, let me go to jail. Let me give it. Did you think after they give him an electric chair, it's just going to stop? They're going to send him home?
Right.
That bothered me. That really did. Like, and then not that I was that impressed before that, but when it was like, what are you going to do? So I'll go to prison and wait for my term? Yeah, that sounds like a great time.
For eternity. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time. So last place I'd want to do if I was immortal is go to jail. No matter what. Let's see the thing. I would have so many more things to do before it'd be like, let's test out the electric chair.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't sound like a good idea to me.
Let's go to Monte Carlo.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things. Like, what if you're even just like, I'm just going to do something crazy, like go rob a bank, you know, and you know, if I get shot walking out, who cares? If I get away, I have millions of dollars. Right. Something that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go to jail? Like, it makes no sense to me. That bothered me so much. And that's why I probably would have given it like 4.5, but it dropped it at least 1.5 on that. And it did seem to me, and I'll say this out loud, it seemed like a quick episode, yet it was still a little boring to me.
It was.
I don't know how that makes
middle
sense.
part. That middle part where they were going, he had that like raggedy suit on. Was it a week? Was it a day? But because then the insurance, the other insurance agents comes in. Oh, you got you too. Yeah, not
what
good.
It really was. It was odd.
And I think it was the acting. I think it was the acting. I would love to see the actual script and see how it read, because I somehow I don't think it all came together.
Yes, I mean, it's got to be something. I mean, like obviously in anything, there's a lot of parts that come into play. Whether you said it, like score, you realize that, like score, acting, obviously starts with the script. And maybe just when something's tweaked off or they're all off, we all feel that it's off. And there was something off here. And I don't know. It sounds crazy, but oh God, I keep saying crazy. Am I allowed to say that, or is it?
Oh, maybe we can just delete it in editing. Well, believe it or not, Buck, we are in the minority, because I put a question out there on Reddit, gauging how people like this episode. People love it. The folks who I interacted with, they thought David Wayne's performance was excellent. They thought that the devil, one person commented that the devil kind of creeped them out when he did that scene when he did the stamp. They also really liked that twist ending, and this is why social media is excellent. And it's, hey, I'm not saying my opinion is right.
But we're not the judge, jury, and
you know what? That's cool. You'll learn from other people. You can do that in life as a rule.
Mm-hmm.
But people really seem to like the episode. Love David Wayne.
Well, would that be? Yeah, you know what? With that being said, I'll probably watch it again with a different perspective on watching him and really watching his performance, and maybe I'll just be like, oh. But not everybody, is going to be like. But you're more against the. I think the performance was good. I would say the dialogue. I think he did the dialogue what he was supposed to do. I think that I don't blame the director when I say direction, but the direction, whether it be from what the writer really wanted or what the director was going for, it just made him a little too harsh for me. But that's what I mean. As an actor, you don't know. They might have been exactly what he wanted. And if that's the case, he might not be somebody you like, or I even like, or whoever doesn't like, but he did it exactly that way.
True. And I think it was too quick. And maybe this is one of the few that would have been an excellent 1 hour episode, in my opinion.
I was going to say, if you took this and made it a movie and really thought about it, and maybe something happened afterwards, I mean, obviously I'd still be mad about, even if he had a friend that knew it was happening, that he could be like, why would you go to jail? Like, why would you do that? And then they
it became too rushed. It became too rushed.
Exactly, because it is a delve in a big concept. And I think people, deals with the devil and everything. And also just like, all right, I'm done. I just didn't understand a lot of it. And you're right. I think it would have been better as an hour-long episode, at least. At least this would be maybe a good play. Yeah, put it on stage.
Yeah, it would be. You're right.
Yeah, and really have him, but also have the character. I mean, the character made the ones we've seen so far, the characters have made changes. Obvious changes. Maybe they didn't change who they were, but they went through a journey. And I guess he did too, but he became worse than a little bit better. He didn't appreciate at the end. Where maybe that's why. Maybe we haven't seen that in our other ones that we've watched so far.
Right. Because we think we come with Mr. Denton, one of the best redemption stories that we've seen with him. Mm-hmm. But this is our first. We saw Bookman die in One for the Angels, but was kind of a peaceful death. This is
well, Bookman also kind of changed in the middle of it. He was selfish.
But between Walter and his wife, we had 2 people die. So we are now up to three folks that have passed away thus far. Since we started, we need to get a little RIP gravestone up for all those who have passed. Walter, his wife, and
a lot of the actors I use them too,
and a lot of Paul Sorvino, of course.
Yes, of course, Paul Sorvino and Robert Duvall. Yeah, so
still alive. Well, with that said, and yeah, we are trying to get our Twitter, our X, I should say, up and running again. We have a lot of folks that we interact with on X and Twitter. So if you can, we probably should do this at the beginning, but we're going to do it at the end because we don't know what we're doing. But if you can, hit the subscribe and the like button, and we really enjoy it. And we are now on Spotify too, for that matters.
Yes, we'll be at Spotify and all the other things as soon as I can figure out to get on to all the other things, which I will because we were on them before. So I'll figure out how we get on those again. So anywhere you can listen to something, you can listen to our dumb, you know what I'm going to say next, Doc, but I want to keep it clean. So
yeah,
from all of us, meaning you and I, Doc,
true,
at the Triple Clowns Network. See you later, everybody.
Give me the ball, Augie. Give me the ball. Bad dog.